So looking at fashion trends right now, apparently plaid trousers, leather crossbody bags, and bright colored puffer jackets are in demand, are what people that are in the know are going to be wearing. But here is what it could look like if you try to pull it off all together. But seriously, gents, I don't have anything against fashion, because if you've got the confidence and body type to pull these things off, well, you probably can. Although there's no guarantee, the proof being this picture of Lenny Kravitz a few seasons back trying to pull off the oversized scarf look. Yes, that fashion trend is back, and if you're shorter than 7 feet tall, I'd be careful trying to pull that one off. Now, if you've watched any of my videos over the last few years, you might assume that I don't like fashion. But the truth is a bit more nuanced, because although I do think fashion can be an expensive trap where a man buys an item and it's out of style within a season, there is at least one big benefit for those of us in the classic fashion that comes with fashion trends. And that's being able to find and purchase classic pieces that happen to be in fashion that are not normally manufactured in mass. The result is you end up being able to get a turtleneck cashmere sweater or a double-breasted suit jacket in your size on sale at your local department store. Example, this year we're starting to see a lot more vintage-inspired leather jackets. These are both motorcycle style jackets and flight style jackets. On top of that, we're seeing the trend of Sherpa lining. And for that Sherpa lining trend, we're seeing this both in leather jackets and trucker style jackets. Now, both of these fashion trends are aligned with timeless items. So if you've been on the hunt for a Sherpa style flight jacket, maybe one inspired by Masters of the Air, well, this is probably going to be the season to find that perfect jacket you've been looking for. So now let's jump over to knitwear. There are going to be 3 types of sweaters in fashion this season. Now, this first one I would avoid, and that's going to be bold embroidered sweaters. Now, if you find one that's really subtle, you like it, and you can afford it, then go for it. But in general, the trend here is to be bold. And although this look for some men can look good, this isn't going to be a versatile piece. It's probably not going to layer well because it demands attention. And they're memorable. So you're going to want to wear this next season? Well, probably not. No, instead, look at a classic shaker rib knit sweater. Now, the shaker stitch is a very particular type of stitch in knitwear that is almost identical to the same type of stitch in fishing and Aran sweaters. Basically, it uses a thicker yarn. It's got a rougher look to it. Really, you're just adding a casual sweater to your wardrobe that's functional, that's going to keep you warm, and in 5 years, you'll still be able to wear. And that third sweater in fashion, the statement turtleneck. Now, this one's a mixed bag. I would avoid patterns on my turtleneck, but solid colors, even if they're a bit bold, even if they're a bit strong, I find that if it fits you well, layered under a sports jacket, this can be a really sophisticated look, one I personally love. And again, the fact that these are in fashion, you should have a little bit more selection, a few more colors to choose from, and don't be afraid to pull the trigger on this timeless style. Now, some of you guys probably noticed I'm wearing a knit polo right here, but notice how my collar is strong. It doesn't fall under the jacket. Well, the reason for that is today's sponsor, Slick Collar. So many of us own collared shirts that have a weak collar that whenever we layer them with a sweater, with a sports jacket, with a suit, they fall down, they flap over. They make you look like you don't pay attention to the details. So instead of you having to go out and buy a whole bunch of new shirts, you buy the Slick Collar and you slip it right under your existing collar, and voila. You've got a great looking collar that stands up, that holds its form, and looks good. Now, gents, when you order a Slick Collar set, it comes with 3 Slick Collars. The Slick Collar, regular size, your go-to for flawless collars on all your favorite shirts. The Slick Collar, slim size, perfect for polos and those slim fit dress shirts. The new Slick Collar athletic size, designed specifically for larger necks and wider collar. It also comes with 10 collar stays, so you can make sure your collar points are on point. But simply put, gents, when you've got a weak collar, like I have right here with this great knit shirt, the reality is a knit shirt is never going to have a strong collar. So with the Slick Collar, I'm able to get the look that I want whenever I layer this piece of knitwear with a jacket. And gents, this may seem like such a small thing, but your collar frames your face. You don't want a floppy collar falling all over the place and really detracting from a look that you put a lot of effort into. So again, gents, it doesn't matter what type of shirt, if it's a dress shirt, if it's a polo, if it's a knitwear collared shirt, any shirt that has a collar, Slick Collar is going to help that shirt look better. Because of the various sizes, it will fit any size collar. And the best part for you, gents, they're incredibly affordable. Seriously, use that link in the description of today's video. You're going to get the best deal on the web. Guys, this is a no-brainer if you want to level up your existing wardrobe. Now, speaking of shoes, the big thing this year is going to be lugged soles. These are heavier, thicker soles that from a functional aspect add a lot to a pair of shoes. They make them more weather resistant and physically they lift you up a bit. Wearing these type of soles makes you look taller. The downside with the wrong combination, it can make the shoe look a little bit awkward. And that's why I've got reservations reservations for this new trend of leather derbies with lug soles. Now, derbies, as you know, are not technically a formal shoe. They're going to be, not at the level of Oxfords, but still, in most people's minds, when they look at this type of shoe, especially in black, they think dress shoe. So to match it with this heavier sole, this heavier bottom, it can look odd. So be careful jumping onto this trend. Now, with Chelsea boots, we're seeing the same thing, but it seems from the examples that I've checked out, when the manufacturer does go with that lugged sole on the Chelsea, he's building up the toe box. He's overall designing a boot that's a little bit larger on top and isn't going to be mistaken for a dress boot. So a chunky pair of Chelseas, would I go for that? Probably quicker than I would for the derbies. But in both cases, be careful. You want to go with a timeless design, especially when you're spending good money on footwear. So really quick, let's talk color. Brown and earth tones are in this season. In addition, we're going to see some darker, richer colors, reds and burgundies. Now, I just so happen to love these colors. So for me, this is a great season. But here's the thing. If you have never liked the color brown in any of its variations, or burgundy red just doesn't work for your skin tone, if that's you, don't fall into the trap of trying to make this work. Because for me, I may be able to find some deals. I may find a turtleneck sweater in burgundy that, actually I already have one. But hey, I could use a backup. Point being is I would wear that item whether or not it's in fashion at all. You, on the other hand, maybe gravitate more towards a gray, a black, or lavender. Whatever it is, don't try to force a color down. If you've never liked brown, but you're seeing all these great deals, you're seeing people get into it, don't try to jump this season's bandwagon, because it'll be gone like a flash in the pan. And then you'll be stuck with an item that even if you sell it, you'll be getting pennies on the dollar. Now, earlier we talked about puffer jackets in bright colors. For me, in general, my complexion doesn't work with brighter colors. Again, if you've got something and you're like, hey, this bright color works with my darker skin, my darker tones, then go for it. But speaking of puffer jackets, let's go over to puffer vests. These are going to be popular as well. I'm going to say for a lot of us, this is, it's a borderline modern classic. I think if you find one that fits you well, it really can fill a hole in the wardrobe. When worn with the right piece of knitwear or a shirt underneath, it gives a really nice layered look. And again, because it's in fashion, we should have more selection of colors, more selection of styles, fits. If you can find something that works for you and you like the look, I'd say go for it. Now with denim, we're seeing two things here. We're seeing denim formal wear, and we're seeing double denim. Now, I've seen that denim formal wear interpreted in different ways, and I do think that you can mix a little bit of denim. I saw this over a decade ago. People wearing denim trucker jackets, layering them with sports jackets, or wearing a lightweight denim shirt with a casual suit. Personally, not my cup of tea, but having been in this game long enough, I've seen it return. So I do think this is something, if you're a little bit more fashion forward, you probably can pull it off. Now with the denim and denim look, the Canadian tuxedo, this one has been around for a long time. I still don't like the look, especially when the denim is too closely matched. However, if there's a strong contrast, maybe a different weight of the denim, I think it can work. But the good news here, again, because it's in fashion, you should have more selection. So if you've been looking for a dark denim button down, or maybe wanting to find a good trucker jacket on sale, this could be the season for that. Next up, we've got wide brim hats. So I'm not a man that daily wears a hat. If you're into hats, this could be a great season for you. Maybe you've always stuck with thinner brim hats. This may be a season to kind of push outside your comfort zone. But in my experience, wider brim hats are a little bit harder to wear. So unless you already wear a hat, I'd be really careful trying to jump onto this trend. Next up, we've got corduroy. This comes in and out since the 1970s, actually even going farther back. For some guys, it reminds them of their childhood. Maybe they had a pair of trousers like this. And I do think in trousers, in pants, this is where it's best utilized. If you currently don't own a pair, then I would say look at the color of the majority of your trousers and just go with that same color. Reason being, it's going to work with the majority of your shirts. And it's the texture, it's the wales themselves, which are going to separate this trouser from all the other ones in your wardrobe. But if you find something in an earth tone, which is probably going to be the most popular colors out there, we're talking mustard, rust, olive, dark brown, and if you feel it's going to work with some of your button downs or your sweaters, then go ahead and give it a shot. Corduroys have been around for a long time. They are a classic. Now, speaking of trousers, let's talk about the tactical aesthetic we're going to see out there. A lot of different types of cargo pants, but these aren't the cargo pants from the early 2000s that were super loose, although a wider fit is becoming more prevalent. No, most of these cargo pants are going to fit relatively well, and the cargo pockets themselves aren't going to be oversized. I personally have mixed feelings on cargo pants. If you're going to use them, you're going out hiking. But then again, I'm 48. I do feel this is a little bit more of a youth style. For guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, you can pull it off, but you really need to know what you're doing. And if you go for a bold pattern like camo, keep everything around it muted and let those trousers speak for themselves. Now, a couple other items I really like: wool beanies, windbreakers. Both of these, if you get in a non-flashy color, avoid the patterns. Just go with a solid neutral you'll be able to use year in, year out. You'll be good to go. And with that being said, gents, don't stop viewing. Come on, I got you covered with another video. Boom, right here. Oh yeah, come on. Click. Come on, check it out. Right there. Oh, yeah.